Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette, and we're so glad you're with us to stay curious with Sharon McDougle from Houston, Texas. Hi, Sharon.
Hello, Mark. How you doing?
Well, we're terrific. We're so happy that you can be with us to celebrate Black History Month here at our museum. You're going to learn so much about this lady. Can't wait to get into it, but she was a suit technician at Houston, and then she would come over to the launches that she was assigned to. She's going to tell us all about that, and but she of course retired at 2011 at the end of the shuttle era. And Sharon, tell us what you've been doing the last 10 years.
Well, I was a real housewife of LaPorte for 1 year because we had to pack up everything and send it back to NASA.
Mm-hmm.
So every screw, everything, we had to send back over. And so after that, like I said, I took a year off, and then my husband told me I had to get a job.
Okay.
So I got a little piece of job, but that's no big deal. And then I decided, you know what? One of my friends asked me, well, what's something you really, really want to do? I was like, I want to write a book. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a children's book or a book about my life, that's in work, but I decided children's book because that was going to launches was great, but I really loved the part of my job where I got to do community service and go out to the schools and community events, have the suit laid out and tell the kids all about it and tell them about the different career fields they can go into besides being an astronaut or a rocket scientist.
Well,
And let the kids see somebody that looked like them too.
exactly. And your book, of course, is called Suit Up for Launch with Shay, and
Yeah.
she's got it on your shirt there, and you got one there. You got a cute little setup there. And we're gonna really get to know this lady, and I know she wants to be part of our American Space Museum, and she promises to come here. But we want all of you to enjoy this program that are watching it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify, and we'll put this audio content on a podcast on Google and Apple. Thanks to our Trekkie Techie in the building today, Jessica Galloway, Marty Winkles behind our Streamlabs computer setup here, as always, my co-producer and faithful friend. And we want to thank the oral histories like this are made possible by the Marie Louise G West Endowment that helped us buy the equipment to do this, Sharon, and talk to you in Houston. We've not done too many Google Meets or Zooms like this, but this Jessica Galloway, this really was smooth transition today. We've had some problem with this, but we're going to get into Sharon's career. Once again, she is familiar with what we call the pumpkin suit that the astronauts are all in. Is your favorite color orange?
I adore orange.
Okay.
Even before I became a suit tech, I loved orange.
Okay.
I like bright colors in general.
Good. Well, that's sort of synonymous with the shuttle era, orange and so forth. So, but first, Sharon, we love and let me go to my picture here and get rid of me. We're showing the classic picture of you that is publicized a lot of you in the suit room. Nice highlights on you there, holding up a spacesuit there.
Oh yeah.
And but first, we want to tell you, Sharon, that we love celebrating astronaut birthdays because I know you appreciate this. Over 300, isn't it, Karen? How they give, Sharon, how they give back to the community is really, I think.
I do. So do I. Yes.
Well, it's a birthday of Garrett Reisman here. We're showing Garrett a 54th birthday. He was born in Morristown, New Jersey on February 10th, 1968. Participated in 2 International Space Station crews, 107 days in space, 3 spacewalks totaling 21 hours. And he's had brushes with several famous actors and television personalities and is a big fan of Stephen Colbert, shown here with him. He looks pretty short, or Stephen Colbert is 7 feet tall, Marty. What do you think there?
I think Stephen Colbert is actually really tall.
He is, Stephen is very tall. So, and he was interviewed live from space on an episode of the Colbert Report wearing a wrist-strong bracelet. And he's been on Battlestar Galactica as a Colonel Marine on a series final episode. All right. And yeah, because she's a Star Trek girl here. And he was a classmate of actress, and there he is later after his NASA career. He was involved with SpaceX as the crew senior working with astronaut safety and mission assurance. So That's why maybe they're also safe and sound on that is because they had a NASA astronaut advising them. He's a friend of Jane Krakowski. I know she's on that 30 Rock. Jane Krakowski, the blonde.
Yeah.
They went to high school together, and they exchanged emails while he was on the space station Atlantis. So cool stuff there about Garrett. You see one giving a talk somewhere, please go see him. You're going to learn so much about not just being an astronaut, about how they're coming back and enriching our communities with their experience. Well, here we have, I'm showing up there the shuttles of February. 11 shuttles launched in February, Sharon. We're talking to Sharon McDougle, and we're going to get back to her in a second in Houston. We love celebrating our heritage with our shuttles. And actually, two of them will be launched tomorrow. STS-82, which is a space shuttle mission to repair or change out the space station. And you dealt with the astronauts on 82.
Yes, I suited up Harbaugh and Hawley on that mission.
Okay, yeah. Stephen Hawley, he had several missions to the space station. Ken Bowersox was the commander of that. And the other launch was 99 on February 11th from Kennedy Space Center, and that one was a shuttle radar mission. Kevin Kriegel and Gorey was the pilot there, but that was one that you said you didn't involved in, and we're going to talk about Sharon's career, where she's in Houston, fitting the astronauts on their spacesuits, the pumpkin suits, and then she's assigned to come to some of the launches. So we'll talk about that. There you are with your suit again, but I wanted to show you and direct you all to Sharon's Facebook page. She's also got know her name, know her story, Sharon McDougle, a modern day hidden figure. And that's something you've really capitalized on, the modern day hidden figure, Sharon, as you go out and speak somewhere. Were you inspired by the original hidden figure ladies? Obviously, but speak to that a little bit about their legacy connected with yours.
Of course, I stand on their shoulders, but after I saw the movie, which I did not even realize was nonfiction, I thought it was just a movie, because I worked in the space program 22 years and had never heard of any of those women. There was nothing mentioned about them out here at JSC or at KSC that I'm aware of. So I was a little upset when I first found out about the movie and that nobody even knew about these women, because they didn't publicize anything or talk about all the great work they did. So it could have influenced a whole lot of other Black kids if we would have known about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the movie was in the Mercury days of the '60s. Really, you didn't know anything about that. Is there anything we can do to have her focus? Wave your hand in front of your face or something to see.
Pixelated because of the connection.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, we're pixeling because of the connection. There. Yeah, that did kind of make you sharper, and then it went back out. Okay. Well, it's all right. Well, that's very interesting in itself. In the African American community, people didn't talk about them. They didn't know about them
We
even.
didn't know about them to talk about them.
Wow.
NASA didn't talk about them. So how are we going to know about them?
We'll talk about
that is what prompted me to tell my story. Even though I wasn't hidden, I was in pictures with astronauts, but I was hidden in plain sight. People didn't even take notice of the suit text in the picture. They just see the astronauts.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I told my story, and then social media, we're in that age, and it just kind of spread after that.
Well, this is an inner circle, definitely, like none other, dealing with the astronauts. And those of you that have had media jobs like me or other things, you know that you're just a facilitator, a means to an end for them. But it's very intimate, isn't it, being involved with them? I mean,
yes, it is. Especially for us, because we got very up close and personal with them, as you can imagine. Having to suit them up and
putting their clothes on. Yeah.
I always told them I was like their mom. I have to get them put their clothes on, then I'd have to actually be up close and personal.
Well, we're going to speak a little more about that, but Sharon, tell us a little bit about growing up in Moss Point, Mississippi, your hometown.
Mississippi, my home. That's right. Shout out to Moss Point. I grew up there, graduated from Moss Point High School, but before that, I lost both my parents by the time I was 7 years old. It was a little hard, a little difficult childhood for me, but I made it through. And I got to my senior year and I didn't know what I was going to do because I didn't have funding to go to college. You know, I wanted to go to school until the Air Force recruiter came out and spoke to our class and lights went off. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I joined the Air Force and got assigned to Beale Air Force Base in California with the SR-71 U-2 program, the reconnaissance aircraft. And they wore pressure suits. So that's how I got my training, was in the Air Force, working on the suits the astronauts, not the astronauts, the pilots wore when they flew, and they were a gold color. Because you see some of the old astronaut pictures, they have gold color suits on because they got it from there.
That's interesting. So that was, how did you segue to NASA with that? It was, tell us about how you got involved.
Yeah, same exact suit. I mean, I was already qualified. And so one of my friends was already out here working that used to be in the Air Force with me. He called and told me when there was an immediate opening. He tracked me down in California and said, hey, they got an immediate opening, call them. And so he had kind of told them about me prior to me calling, of course. So it really wasn't even an interview. It was like a cursory call.
Wow.
So I called. They said, come down whenever you're ready. And I packed up my car and drove from California to Texas, 1990.
Well, this is what I'm looking at your bio here. This lady put, she just didn't put Air Force people in airplanes, okay? You put SR-71 and U-2 pilots. This was top secret reconnaissance type of stuff in there.
Sir.
So you had to have all kinds of clearance and stuff like that, correct?
Yes, sir. And when we traveled, one of the sites we went to, we couldn't even wear our uniforms. That's how secretive it was. We had to wear some clothes to go to work and suit them up and strap them into the aircraft. So yeah, it got dicey sometimes.
I've seen that. I've seen an SR-71, a couple of them up close. Not much room in that cockpit, you know, for people in there.
Exactly. So we would have to load the seat kit into the aircraft and the parachute, get that in the aircraft. Then we go back and suit up the pilot and the co-pilot. We'd suit them up, test them out and everything, put them in the nice van with the lazy boys and drive them out to the flight line.
Wow.
Walk up they'd go up this tall ladder to get into the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Get in, and somebody would hold my feet.
Oh, really? Okay.
I had to get out and hook up his spurs on his boots. You know, if he had to eject, it would snap his legs back. So I couldn't reach that. And like you said, it's tiny.
Wow.
So I had to kind of wiggle around in there and hook up both of his spurs on his feet. Then I could scoot back up and start hooking up all his straps, you know, the 5-point system and all that, and oxygen and everything. But it was amazing.
Well, Sharon, because it's Black History Month, was there you were a woman and a African American woman. Was there anything, you know, did they doubt who you were, or at times did you have some obstacles there, or was the Air Force pretty good about all that?
Not at all. It was amazing. Because I was actually judged on my merit and my work ethic, and I was sharp. I knew my stuff. I learned it. I came in there like I owned the place, first of all. Okay. I was an 18-year-old girl out of Mississippi, but I came in there like...
We're brothers from, or they still are brothers, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Sharon, and they came down and photographed over 70 launches.
Wow.
And they're partners with us. We have me in the universe here. Marty says you're so far out, we're going to put you and we're going to look at some pictures here I'm going to bring up. Okay. This is the pumpkin suit I'm showing that we have. I sent you a picture of in our glass case in our museum. Marty, can you make that bigger? Or, there we go. That takes Sharon out and us both out of the picture. This pumpkin suit, I think a lot of people would be surprised, Sharon, to know that an astronaut is not assigned he doesn't get to keep his spacesuit, and one's not custom made for him after the Apollo years. So we know that this suit was probably on 6 missions by 6 different people wore it, and it's a large. So tell us a little bit about one size fits all, Sharon.
It's not one size fits all, and that's only the cover layer that you guys have. That's not the entire suit.
Okay.
That's just the cover layer that zips off, unzips.
So underneath is
the suit.
The real suit.
Yeah, that's the cover layer. It's the outer protective layer, and it is Nomex. So if they had a few little sparks coming off of their console or something, it wouldn't immediately catch on fire. Of course, if you douse it, it's going to catch on fire.
Right.
Safety. And because underneath it, you had a link net, and underneath that, you had the bladder.
Okay.
And then a layer. So it was mainly just to protect. And then, of course, the orange color is for them to be seen easily. International help color, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're and 90%, 99% of chance they're going to land in water if they have the bill out. So they be seen easily wearing orange, and their life raft was yellow and orange. So, and of course they had beacons and radios that would automatically go off to let the helicopters know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much government expense is these suits?
The suit alone, this is not including the gloves, the helmet, and all that. When I was there, it's probably double that now because it's been over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was 100,000 while I was there just for the suit component, not the helmet, gloves.
How much?
100,000.
100,000. And the
That's
orange
stupid.
suit that we have, we know is $5,000. So
That's just the cover layer.
that's just the cover layer. Yeah, that's just so we just got the cover layer. Well,
Yeah, that's the cover.
well, we need to get all the innards and everything in there for us there. But
Yeah, that's the older suit. That's the LES, the launch, and the other one is called the ACES, the most current one that has the rings on the wrist.
mm-hmm.
The ACES.
Well, talk
That one
about the
has-
sizes then. Talk about
Oh, the sizes?
you've
All
got
the
Scott
way
Altman scooters over 6 feet tall, and
Mhm.
you got little Marcia Ivins there.
Yeah. So you have small, medium, large, extra large, and of course the suits aren't made to be form fitting, right? They come in. We know their street clothes size, their civilian sizes, like their shoe size and their pants and shirt size and stuff before they come in. Once they get assigned, they come see us and they get a fit check. We perform measurements on them. And like I said, we'll have the different sizes in there. We've kind of guesstimated about what size they may need from what we know already.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them the helmet is one size. So if you got a real big head, you can't be an astronaut.
Do you know of any astronauts that don't have a big head or males?
I barely made it in that helmet. Had to put a little oil on it and push it down.
Yeah, puff your cheeks in like this so we get
Right?
you there.
Like,
Very good.
but no, everybody made the cut. It's a pretty roomy helmet. And for people that have smaller head, we do have they're lying on their back for a while. So we have these little pillows you put inside the back of the helmet to give them some cushion while they're lying out in the cabin.
Well, I never thought about that, Marty. I hope everyone's staying curious out here with all this good stuff Sharon's given us. Interesting.
Yeah.
Sharon, during the heyday of the shuttle, how many?
Yes. And my department was a shuttle crew escape equipment department. We called it CEE for short. And then you had the EMU suit was down the hall. That's the white suit that they did the EVAs in. So in my department, we had up to 25 technicians. And we would assign and rotate. People think we just sit around and wait for a launch. It's like, no, you have 4 crews training at one time, sometimes more. So even though you might have this launch getting ready to go, there's still all this other training going on. It's continuous. And then you're continuously repairing the equipment because it gets pretty banged up. A lot of times, the same stuff they're going to fly in, they're training in. So, they want to, get used to what they're actually going to fly in. They don't have that choice all the time because it depends on who needs it next and all this stuff, because they're not assigned like this suit is just for Scooter. This suit is just for Beamer. No. Beamer might have it on a day and tomorrow some other astronaut's going to have it on. We have to adjust it and get it ready for the next person.
She's talking about Robert Kerbeam, who we're going to see a picture with her, the only astronaut, and Scooter Altman, the pilot of the last 2 shuttle repair missions, and Scott was he's a Top Gun guy, everyone knows that, and he was in the movie Top Gun, buzzing the tower, I think, he loves to talk about. Never met him, would love to have him on Stay Curious someday.
Most of them are such sweethearts. Scooter is one of the sweethearts. Beamer is super sweet. I mean, everybody loves Robert Kerbeam, I'm sorry. Kerbeam.
Yeah.
And he and Marcia, actually, because you said it was this month, he and Marcia on fit check day, they both brought me roses because it was during Valentine's week.
Oh, yeah, right, when they were launched. Yeah, she's not seeing it there, but we're going to talk a little about that. I've got here a picture I'm showing of you with the first African-American in space, Guy Bluford, who flew 3 missions. And that you're pretty young then, in that 1983, I think, was the mission for Bluford, STS-8. I'm going to consult my shuttles. William Thornton on there. What do you? And Guy had 3 other missions. I've never heard him talk anywhere. But what do you know about this gentleman and how he's living today?
As far as today, I don't know. But that photo.
Yes.
It wasn't actual. I wasn't here, of course. I was in the Air Force when he launched.
Okay.
It wasn't launch day right there. he had to come back to NASA. He did a photo shoot. They had to do a 360 shoot of him because they were making a statue of him in his hometown.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
was so excited that I was going to meet the first African American to
Yeah.
go. And so I got to suit him up and get that one photo. I know it's a little blurry, but it's still him.
You still got him there. Yes, yes, you do.
I was
Well,
on the cell phone, so.
yeah. Well, the next picture we have you here is Bolden with Charlie
Yes.
Bolden, and not sure what flight that was, but you got
45.
that was 45.
Yes.
Of 92 on Atlantis, as I look
Let me
here.
make sure.
And
Yep.
so that was his first stint as a commander.
STS 45 Commander. I was so proud. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, how is a commander around his crew during this suit fitting time and stuff?
But everybody knows Charlie. Once again, I know y'all tired of me saying it, but a lot of the astronauts were sweethearts. And I wasn't just with me, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He was so amazing. I got so lucky to suit him up that day because I actually was suiting up. I suited up Kathy Sullivan, I think, on that mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so the MSs, they come in about 10 minutes prior to Commander and pilot and MS2.
Yep,
So-
she's got a great memory of these missions. Yeah, Duffy was the pilot, and Sullivan, Leesma, Mike Fole was on that. Fremont was from the Netherlands, I think. Fremont and Lichtenberg. That was they had a thing in the shuttle cargo bay mission there. What was I thinking about? Charlie there. Of course, he became the NASA administrator. Do you stay in touch with somebody like this? Is he?
No, only thing after those missions, after I became manager, he did come back and speak at our Black History Month program for United Space Alliance, which is where I work. And other than that, no, we're not like buddies on the phone or nothing like that.
I know what I want. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if you were, because certain and you know. Sharon knows Triple T and Tales from Our Right Room with Travis Thompson. We do every Friday. And Sharon, it's like I tell on Travis's show, 355 different people were loaded up in the shuttle. And it's like a high school where you got that many people. How many would you actually know in your high school? You might know 50 or 60 real good. So, and is that how it worked for you? There were some that you got close to, and others it was just, we're high, we're that's just how life is. You can't get to know everybody in your high school class or in there. So,
and it's so funny, people will meet you and they realize what you did, or even while we were there. Do you know so and so? I'm like, do you know it's like 10,000 people?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're working at Houston. Yeah,
I don't know them. Every now and then they'll say a name that I know, but most time I don't know who they're talking about. If they weren't in the suit realm, I really didn't interact with them. The suit, if they didn't have anything to do with the suit and the crews, I pretty much didn't know anything about them.
Well, let's talk about that. There's two segments to your job, and in Houston, you said there was a couple dozen suit techs there. All right, and then you're assigned to go. How were you assigned to go to the launch and landing? You told me too. You go to the launch and the landings on certain one. Is it a rotation where your name comes up, or just?
Exactly. It's about every third launch you get assigned. By the time you put the folks up, 4 or 5 suit techs to a team. It kind of rotates like that. So you'll have 5 people to a 7-person crew, and 1 person would suit up 2 people. And I did that quite often. I did that on STS 51. I did it with STS 45. I suited up Kathy and
82. You were talking about that was in space this month, launching tomorrow.
Some of the best ones we would get assigned to because we can handle it.
Right.
We didn't want to, because you got to suit them up and test them with cameras all over your shoulder. And make sure everything's good.
Right, you get.
So
I did well. There, she brought up something that you're staying curious about. The room is filled with a video camera crew and a still camera crew.
All the visitors. I mean, you're trying to do your job. All these people are in there. So you got to be able to focus and do your job and test this suit and make sure everything's good before they go get in that van and drive right out to the pad.
Awesome. Let's look at a few more pictures here. We've got a picture of you and Gregory.
Fred. Yes.
Fred Gregory. And you got your
The
hair
bird.
dude up there a little bit there. What
Yeah, I was
mission is that of Fred Gregory's there?
that's here 44.
Oh, 44. Okay, yep. 19 November 91. That was an Atlantis mission.
Can you see my arm?
Yep.
You see, I got a watch. You see that little watch
I
strap
see a
on?
little watch on your arm there. Uh-huh.
Fred Gregory gifted me that the morning of launch. He brought it in and gave it to me.
Oh, how
It's
sweet.
44 parts.
Now, this was a Defense Department mission. So, was there much table talk with when it wasn't a Defense Department mission and they were closed-lipped when it was, or is there any difference in that, Sharon?
It was never like work talk as far as they're not talking about what they're doing on the mission and stuff like that. It's more of us talking about our families, how things are going. Does this fit right? Does he feel okay? You know, it was that type of thing. It wasn't talking about what they're getting ready to go do on their mission. Or even when they came back, it wasn't that kind of talk with us. It's like we were just, just chatting, like I chat with them all, suiting them up about their dog or their kid or somebody's birthday's coming up. You see when they hold the little posters up when the camera's going around the room, like "Hi, Mom" or something like that. We'll talk about, so who you gonna say hi to today, or slide them something to fly for me in their suit pocket.
Okay, cool.
We talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. Well, I will send you the link of a nice interview we had with with Mr. Gregory, that one of the co-hosts that helps me once in a while, Bart Martindale, and he conducted an interview with him, and really a good one there. Marty's got a question for you. Why did you go to landings? To unsuit the astronauts?
Yeah, we had to go recover them. We will be on the CTV, and I don't know if you guys ever saw it. Everybody knows the space shuttle land like a plane.
Mm-hmm.
So the vehicle will go out there, and it kind of raises up like on a little elevated type thing. It raises up and it connects to the door of the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a flight doc, suit techs. It will be just two of us, not the whole suit tech crew.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other people on the vehicle. And so we will wait for them to come out. Sometimes we'd have to prop them up on our shoulder and help them to their seat. Sometimes we have to use a wheelchair, depends on how it affected them from being in space and coming back.
Okay.
And sometimes we walk off like it's no problem, nothing affected them at all. And they'll go back and the doc will check them out, just do the basics, make sure they're okay and stuff. And we unsuit them. And we got to get all our equipment and bag it up and take it back to Houston. So we got to make sure everything gets taken care of. Nobody else is going to do it if we're not there.
Right. So, but they suit themselves before they deorbit in there. So, do they ask you? Have you told some people, now remember to tuck this under here or something like that? Does that go on?
Yes, that's exactly why we're doing it on Earth with them, and to keep them from damaging our equipment so bad. Because once, like I said, they train in actual flight gear a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So we're showing them the proper way to not beat this equipment up so bad. How to roll, like you said, how to roll it and pack it and stow it, and just the proper way to use it, So this is going on for a year. They have many, I don't even know how many, probably 20 or 30 training missions before they actually go to TCDT even.
Wow.
Well, TCDT, Terminal Countdown Demonstration Test.
Do you hear that, folks? 20 or 30 times they get in these suits and stuff, and you're helping to make sure they know to. Did anyone ever talk to a Capcom and say, get Sharon on there? I can't put this snap on there right or whatever.
Our suits were the easy laid back suit. Now they'll get off of the EMU. That's the suit. That's the baby space shuttle. So that's the one they would get on Capcom asking about. Not about the.
Oh, well, I just had to ask there.
A booking system while they're up there. So that's part of their training here on Earth too. Of course, it's a little more difficult because it's floating around up there, but they still have a buddy system to help each other put the suit on.
Well, we're talking to Sharon McDougle. She's in, what town are you in?
LaPorte, Texas.
LaPorte?
Right.
Okay. Suburb of Houston, I imagine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, I lived about a year and a half in Conroe, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
But that was like 1980, something like that.
Yeah.
And when I went back 3 years ago, I didn't even know Conroe existed. It's just incredible how Houston has sprawled all over.
All over.
Yeah.
30 minutes on the drive anywhere.
Well, we're having a delightful conversation with Sharon McDougle, spacesuit tech for NASA, retired. She's telling us a lot of things that I've never.
Mention all except for Apollo's son and Gary Jarrell.
Apollo's son and Darren. Gary.
Gary Jarrell.
Oh, Gary Jarrell. Well, we say hi to them. And I'm going to shoot another picture up here, Sharon, of you, and tell us a little about that.
It was a huge honor because I was the only African American woman in my department the whole time I was there.
Oh, really? I didn't ask you that. Okay.
Yeah.
Were there any African American men?
Yes, there were some men, but I was the first African American period in that department. So
Which
before
was
me-
May's mission? 75?
47.
Uh,
47.
Oh, 47. 47, as I look at my scroll here to remind us when this took place. So tell us a little about May.
Is that the picture where I'm leaning over adjusting something?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You see that little thing on my wrist, that little white, like a badge size
I do.
thing?
I see you got on your wrist there a checklist thing there.
I've got it right here still. Piece of history.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah,
show us that. Oh,
I can
cool.
see it.
And I see that to your left there, you got the patch for 47
Yes.
up there.
You landed Austin,
Uh,
yeah.
That was Hoot Gibson's fourth mission. Hoot Gibson. What
Oh, I love Hoot. He's a hoot.
he's a hoot, huh?
I love him. He was a sweetheart too.
And Brown was your pilot, and you had Lee on
Mhm.
there, and Davis and Apt, and she flew with the Japanese lady, Maury.
Yeah, it was a lot of firsts on that crew.
Yeah.
lot
There
of
was two,
First Japanese, first
yeah,
married
2,
couple.
4, 6, 7. Yeah, Lee and
Yeah.
Davis were married.
Mhm.
And how'd that, isn't it? In public. Have to, 19. That was September 92. That was September 1992. Can you believe
September
30
12th.
years ago?
Almost.
Oh my
almost
gosh.
there.
We hate giving
It
you these
was amazing.
benchmarks sometimes, but on there.
Folks that after landing walked off like office. I was ready, thinking I was gonna.
Or or you got some high heels on there that day, girl.
I don't know if
'cause-
I had on some little boots. I may have had on some boots with probably an inch heel on them or
Yeah,
something.
she's a half a head shorter than you. She's awesome, and we talked yesterday about Wilson, Stephanie
Mhm.
Wilson being an
Yeah.
Artemis astronaut, and wouldn't
know,
that be
right?
something if she was the first woman in person of color to walk on the moon? That'd be amazing,
Mhm.
wouldn't it?
Mhm.
But she's probably in line to be a commander or assistant commander on
Oh,
that orbiting outpost that we're going to put in orbit, the moon on there. And then I've got this black and white picture of you with Robert Stature on the left, and who's got to be the biggest
Stature.
dog lover of all time in the astronaut corps,
Yeah.
Leland Melvin.
Had us stressing out bringing those dogs in that photo shoot because I was so scared they were gonna puncture it with their nail. You know, it's like, oh my god, why? I was on kids.
And the famous, we've shown the picture of him with his
Yeah.
big Irish setters or whatever they are.
Mhm.
That made you nervous that they were in there in that picture, huh?
Look at the suit.
Huh.
These dogs climbing all over them. I'm thinking they're just
Yeah.
gonna sit on the side of them and do a picture.
Don't think
Oh my
about
goodness.
that. And Bernard Harris, you and Bernard Harris, boy, you look pretty young in that one. Bernard
I was-
Harris. Bernard Harris did the first African American spacewalk. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
And
he-
I got lucky. You know how I got to suit him up? I wasn't even assigned to that mission, but the guy one of the guys got sick, so I had to go replace.
oh, really?
I got lucky. Yeah, I had to suit him up first.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, he
And
was.
that picture was like they all dressed in German garb. I don't know if you have that picture. They have the photo shoot.
Oh,
They dress in stuff. Yeah.
yeah. We'll see if we got that one up there. And then I've got you in with Beamer, Robert Kerbeam there.
They're one of my all-time favorite astronauts ever.
And he is the only American astronaut to do 4 spacewalks on a mission. The fourth one was kind of an emergency to fix something, and I would be proud that he was. That was on 98 in
Now, y'all see
February
him
of
on,
2001.
and 98.
Pardon me?
I suited him up on STS 85 and STS 98.
Yep.
And Marsha as well.
Is he really just hairless? Because he always seemed with this cool.
Yeah, he just there like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's. You're not. She can't see these pictures, but you were there, and we've got these machines behind you and tables and so forth. And explain that a little bit to everybody. That's
yeah.
part of your job to look at those dials and stuff, I would say.
Yes, the panel directly behind the chair where the crew member is sitting, that's only the to turn on the oxygen and their little ventilator. When we used to then have the liquid cooling garments,
Mm-hmm.
we would hook up air to their suit to give them a little ambient air to cool them off a little bit. But later we got the liquid cooling garment, so we didn't have to use it for that. But it was a turn up. The main oxygen panel was over against the wall by the television. You can't see it in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so all these were hard lined to that. So we would have to turn that on for the oxygen to come to the smaller tester that's on the table, which is where we took our readings from. So the back panel, we weren't taking readings from it. We just had to turn that on to get the oxygen flowing to our smaller tester.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like a small boxing at the edge of the table in front of the astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all the items on the table, I don't know exactly what's in the picture, but it will be the crew worn items that we're going to put in all the pockets on their suit.
Oh.
We'll
So-
lay stuff out, and then we'll have it after we make sure they look at it and make sure that's everything that they want to take. We put it all in a big bucket container down on the floor by the tester, because immediately after we test them, we start stuffing all the stuff in their pockets.
Now this was, of course, stuff. Mm-hmm.
But smaller things like their pills, motion sickness pills, their
Okay.
strobe light, their emergency, their emergency stuff, their radio, their beacon, all those items, pens, pencils, things like that.
And they depended on you to get all that right stuff in there.
We actually had a drawing of this astronaut and the pockets with little written down will go in each pocket. So in case you're busy with your other, like I would have 2 people after I test them, that's the hard part, to get them all tested and done. Then I'll let somebody else, maybe one of the rookies, come over and you stuff the pockets while I go suit up my other astronaut.
Well, let me tell you this little story from astronaut Andy Allen, who goes to space on STS-55 this month. You love Andy? Andy's been on our show here.
Yeah, I suited him up too.
And well, he said that he has so many women in his family, PK kit, his personal item kit. So his commander, Lauren Shriver, told him to tape some of those things to his body.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah. He's not the only one to do that.
Okay. Well, we didn't want to hang him out there to dry us with that.
But the underwear, it's like long johns, so you could conceal all kind of stuff under there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's confirmed there.
Yeah.
Marty, we got a question.
Yeah, Tom Usiak wants to know, did Sharon ever meet one of my good friends, Ron Woods? He was in the
Yes,
You hear that, Ron Wood?
I love Ron. Everybody loved Ron.
Tom Usiak, yes, she loves Ron. Okay.
And all his pictures were hanging in the suit room. All his artwork was hanging in the suit room.
Oh, really?
If you ever watch
Tell us who Ron Wood was for those that don't know.
Ron Woods, he worked at KSC. He was in the KSC office.
Mm-hmm.
So he would come over and he's like, I think he was over the quality inspectors.
Mm-hmm.
So he would come over when we come in town to do our suits and do everything that we're doing, TCT or launch. Him, Bill Allen, and it was another lady, I forget her name. But Ron was they were out to the quality team, if I remember right.
Yeah, I've met Ron Wood, by the way. His artwork's awesome. Yeah, because he was in our museum a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a website. I saw some of his artwork. My jaw dropped.
I know.
And I know who you're talking. Thank you, Tom Usiak, for bringing that up. Sweet.
All the time. He's always just nice.
Oh, that was Mark Usiak. Okay, we don't want to get the brothers quarreling there. Who's interjecting stories there. Well, let's go to another one of your scrapbook pictures here, and this is what we love. I've got the picture of you on STS-47 on the laps of
My favorite all time.
there with other civilians around there. So, folks, I want Sharon to explain that when they do these formal photographs at NASA, it's a photo call, a day that they go there. But Sharon, give us what we don't see, all the people in the room and so forth going on there.
So it's treated just like a regular training event. Like if they're getting ready to go and get in the mock-up and do a regular training event. We have to bring all of their equipment over, just like, if we're going to do anything else, even though it's a photo shoot, because you never know if they're gonna want to put the whole get up on or just a suit or what. So we have to have everything with us. We roll it over, we lay it out, just like I said, like just like it's launch time. We lay all the stuff out, we suit them up. So the suit techs are there. We're in the background the whole time until it's time for us to jump in a photo or two. We suit them up, and you'll have the photographer, the NASA photographer. Sometimes it'll be 2 of them, depending on who it is. And sometimes they have their families with them. So it gets pretty crowded because you got
or their dogs, right?
And
It's
their dogs,
Leland
yeah.
Melvin.
and that's considered part of the family. So
Of course.
yeah, and they'll have other props sometimes. Like it's Christmas time, they got the Santa hats and little small Christmas trees and sleighs, and it just depends on what the event is. But we're there, and we're there all day with them too. As long as our suits are there, we're there with them too, because we're responsible for that equipment. And so we'll get to, like I said, get to do some. We have to do adjustments between photos and stuff, and the photographer's still snapping. So I got some pretty nice photos of just random us fixing things on the adjusting and doing things while they're waiting on their next picture. But then they'll do their fun photo, the off the records photos. And most of the time we get to jump in, but sometimes it's something where they got costumes on, so we can't really get in. I was fortunate enough to be there for the STS 98 when they did the poster.
We're going to show that next year. Here's the good segue there, because we love looking up the what they call it's either a parody of their mission or something, Halloween or something like that going on. But they create these posters that this one is think safety, you got a problem with that. And all the astronauts are dressed like street thugs, all right? With they got tattoos on them and everything like that. But Sharon, these are distributed around Johnson Space Center and Kennedy Space Center as you're going down the halls of the bathroom, so forth. And I tell people, it basically says, do your job or we're gonna get killed. It's a subtle reminder of how serious space travel is, right?
Yes. And they used to have the ones before that where like Eileen Collins was holding her daughter.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to make it back to my family and things like that.
Yep, I've seen those USA posters. And
it's funny, I was visiting, not Goddard, what was the one in Louisiana? I forgot our site that's in Louisiana.
Michoud.
Yeah, I was visiting Michoud for Black History Month, and I spoke there a few years back, and they were walking me through the building, and they were like, I was saying, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. That's like, those are real. They thought it was just like the picture that come in a frame.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I was like, that's a real astronaut and her daughter. That's so-and-so, and I'm naming them. They just couldn't believe it, that those were really people that worked in the space program. They were astronauts.
Wow.
That's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
But you had things like STS-55. They had a German astronaut on the flight, I think. So they all wore the German little outfit with the little shorts and the little suspenders and the little hat.
Right, yeah.
And then the one, of course, the poster. It was another really good one.
We were talking about the MASH theme that we were talking about Sid Gutierrez's crew, and there was 3 women on that, and they had like a MASH unit, like the TV show and all that.
I like the one from
STS-54 did Star Trek.
Of course, the Star Trek one.
Yes, Mario Ronco with the ears. He looked just like.
Yeah, Mario Urunko looks like Spock. I saw a picture of him taken this year. His hair's down to his back. Have you seen the latest picture of him in there? Mario just had a birthday recently, too. We remember that. I like the logo of STS-98 because it looks like the Grateful Dead Steal Your Face logo a little bit to me there.
Tattoos of that patch. I actually got some tattoos. I've had on TCT. I had one on my face, the patch tattoo.
Well, let's look at a picture of you here, all tatted up with the crew there. I'm showing the picture of you with the crew there. You've got Kevin Cockrell's the commander. He's in the middle there, the shortest guy, and the pilot's Mark Polanski beside him. And you got Robert Kerbeam is just above your head there with Marcia Ivins, got her arm on him. And Tom Jones is on the far right, a great astronaut. And the other astronauts, there's another, not an astronaut, there's another gentleman in there with you there.
Yeah, he's one of the suit techs.
One of the suit techs, too. So y'all got tattoos that day, it looks like,
We
Sharon.
just happened to have on black shirts. It was perfect. We didn't even know about the... So we got to get the little fake tattoo. They had a lady over there putting the little fake tattoos on everybody. And I had to tie their bandanas on. They didn't know how to tie their bandanas on their head. It was sad. I'm like, how y'all gonna do the photo shoot?
They didn't know how to tie bandanas on their head.
They tied it on their head and roll it tight. They didn't know how to do it right. They had them just kind of sitting on top of their head.
Yeah.
I was like, come here. And I tied each one of their bandanas on and snugged it in the back. I even was directing them on how to do the folding the arms and look mean and tough. I was directing the whole photo.
Great. Well, there's how it turned out they'd look mean and tough. Like you go down to an alley, you're going to get smacked around there. So, but a lot of fun, and a lot of fun always breaks the tension, doesn't it, Sharon?
That was my favorite crew of all time. by
Was it
far.
really?
Yes,
Well,
we
that's
had so much fun with them. They were
that's
all
cool. And you said you had a lot. That was Marsha Ivans' fourth
Marsha.
mission.
She made me a homemade cheesecake. It weighed about 10 pounds. It was about this tall.
Really?
I was like, it was delicious. That's the best cheesecake I've ever had.
She's very, of course, known for her beautiful hair. She's worn her hair
Yes,
long. I think she's
great.
70 years old now, and there was a beautiful picture of her, black and white, with her hair. She doesn't
Mhm.
dye it; just lets the gray
And
show.
of course, you saw the
And
one in space where she just let it go. And it was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, indeed.
autograph one of those to me.
And now, Sharon, we're enjoying our conversation. That we're coming to an end here with Sharon McDougle. So delightful to talk to you. It's like I've got a new best friend.
Yes.
And here's the picture that you promote yourself with your
At the
book,
table,
Suit
stand.
Up for Launch with Shay. So tell us a
Oh,
little bit about you wanting and the artist who helped you with this. Tell us a little
yeah.
about that, Sharon.
The illustrator, a wonderful woman named Cristiel Pimenta. She's out of Brazil. I got so lucky finding her. I found her on Facebook, actually, after I had been through 2 other illustrators who didn't complete the job. The book should have been out over a year ago, but I kept having problems with them. So I finally got her, and she finished it, and she did exactly what I wanted, and it turned out really beautiful. I love little Shay. I love her. And so Shay and the mom are both me. Because people would ask me, is Shay you or is the mom you? I was like, both. Shay is me when I was little, and the mom is Suit Tech me.
Cool.
So
Well,
it's walking you through a suit up where
mhm.
a child can understand it though. But I've had a lot of parents say they had a lot of wow moments. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had to lie on their backs for 3.5 hours before they launched. Like, yeah, it's they just lying there. And that's why they wear the diaper, because they can't get up and go to the restroom. They have to lie
Right.
on.
Sometimes longer too. By the way, you Stay Curious watchers can buy that book on Amazon Smile with your favorite nonprofit, the American Space Museum. At least we hope we're your favorite nonprofit. And yeah, check that out. You can buy it on Amazon there, and it was published just like last fall, right?
October 29th. It went
Okay.
live on. Mhm.
Well, we can't wait to get a bunch of them here. We'd love to sell them for you in here. We'll find a way to get you to autograph them, and we guarantee you. Sharon says she wants to come to the Space Coast. Tell us a little about your husband. Don't leave him
My
out.
husband
What's his
is
name?
amazing. His name is Ronald McDougle,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a scuba diver over at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab.
Oh, is he?
He
Okay.
actually videotapes the astronauts while they're underwater training. So he's
Okay.
just underwater floating, videotaping them while they're training. And he also, instead of them bringing the whole mock-up out the pool, he'll actually go down and repair it. So they don't have to bring the whole thing up. So he can go down and weld or fix whatever's underwater instead of bringing that whole big mock-up out.
Didn't think
So
about that. Did you out there? Stay curious. The giant buoyancy table, buoyancy tank, in Houston. It's actually off the JSC campus, correct?
Yes,
It's
yes,
20
correct.
miles away or something like that.
You got it.
And
Yes, it's only-
never thought about the replicas having to be repaired or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's because
Because they can get to weightlessness as being underwater, which is why they do that for folks that may not have known.
mm-hmm.
So they put on the EVA suit, the EMU suit, and they go underwater and they practice if they're gonna have to go out and fix something or how they're gonna move around when they're outside the orbiter. So they
Mhm.
practice all that underwater.
Well, that's interesting. Well, we have enjoyed our conversation with Sharon McDougle. She is a Snoopy Award winner, which 1% of the contractors get the Snoopy Award. We told you in our we have a gallery just dedicated to you, the space workers, in there. And one of my favorite things in there that Marty thinks is weird, that I think it's a favorite thing, is the AVO, the Avoid Verbal Orders form. That you would fill out so that if you said, Sharon, we're going to I'll get with you on that and have it to you, 3:00 tomorrow. And I would have to write out in triplicate this Avoid Verbal Orders to you to end that. You remember those?
Did you have the carbon copies under there?
Yeah, you remember those?
Yes.
And now it's now it's just a quick email. Well, we hope Carlton Bale's been enjoying this. We got Chalip Zan, Tanya Thompson watching it, Larry Pusker, he's a Michigander up there watching us up there. We've got so many wonderful people, Sharon, that love Stay Curious, and we're so happy for you to help enrich in our program with your presence here today. Is there
Any
anything? Is there something that you wanted to share with us that I haven't asked you, Sharon?
Well, I had a couple of items you told me to show you.
Yeah, you got some show and tell for
I
us.
showed you the watch already, and
Your video's crystal clear. We just must have, the transmission of it goes in and out, but it's really clear right now.
so STS 73. This is just like Fred Gregory gave me the watch for STS 44.
Oh, there it is. Right.
Yeah, that I was wearing that launch morning after he brought it in,
Uh-huh.
and then I don't know if you know Mike Lopez Alegria.
Yes,
He's on
sir.
STS
Know who
73.
he is? Yeah.
I suited him up. Well, I'll just show you instead of taking.
He's a big spacewalker.
Well, there I'm unsuiting them so y'all can kind of get an idea of how it. Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah, we can.
The suit off of them right there.
Holy cow!
And then
You got to really
there's-
rip that thing off of him.
Yeah.
So whether it was at KSC or Edwards, you would, if you were assigned to it, you would go out there.
Edwards, SPS was it 98 or 85? Which one was Kurt on with Beamer? Was that 85? Whichever one Kurt Brown was on with Beamer, that's the one we had to go. I had to go to Edwards. It landed out there.
Yep, Kurt Brown, Rominger,
That was
Beamer,
85,
yeah,
right?
and it landed. It said it landed KSC 85.
No.
All right, my scroll could be wrong here. We'll have to.
We know how that be.
That's sweet. Well, good. What else you got there? A little show and tell to end our little conversation today, Sharon.
I still have a couple of the tools that I had. A little screwdriver from working on the suit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Working on the suits, you had your own little toolbox,
Yes.
and so
And a cool thing about my toolbox, they saying I draw this.
really.
He came straight over to my toolbox, and I have pictures of my kids in my toolbox. He walks through everybody. He's like, "Oh my God, they're so cute. What are their names?" And I'm like, "This is Tom Cruise."
Really? What was he there for?
He was narrating one of the NASA films videos that they showed at Space and
Oh,
Houston.
narrating. Okay.
Yeah, so he was all scruffy because he was doing that Last Samurai movie at the time.
Uh-huh.
I just couldn't believe it was him, and he was just and he was thanking us every time he put his foot in. Thank you so much. He put one foot in. Thank you so much. He was just like a kid in a candy store. He was so excited.
Huh.
And so this lacing needle,
Yeah, see that?
I don't know if you guys are aware, the suit, it has a link net layer underneath that orange cover, and then it has like a corset lacing in the waist, in the upper and lower arm, and the upper and lower leg. It's like shoelaces because it might be a size large for somebody, but their arms might be shorter than the other person that wears a large. So you can adjust these lacings with that. And we use this, it's like a crochet needle, not a crochet needle, it's a curved, soft, rounded tip, so it's not sharp. So you can go and do, your lacing without damaging the suit because it's not sharp. But you have to lace things, and then on the harness assembly as well, you have to lace different things on the harness. So this was a real busy little tool right here, this lacing needle. But this is just a couple of things I had left over because I was a manager the last 8 years, so my toolbox got separated and went to other people. So these are all the pieces I had that I kept.
Very interesting. So when you need an electrical socket in the house, does your husband say, Sharon, get your toolbox?
I got one tool, a little stubby screwdriver, and I know it's one of the ones I worked with because I had my initials on the end of it.
Okay, cool.
I know this was one of them.
Well, let's end with a shout out to your children.
Yes, my beautiful daughter Dominique, she's 27 years old, and she plays professional women's football. She be cracking heads on the field.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, full, not
On a
not
Houston team?
Yeah, Houston Energy. Look it up.
I will.
She the pass, the helmet, everything. I mean, they be playing harder than the guys, I think.
Uh-huh. I've seen some women football in Tennessee when I was living up there. Yeah, they're pretty serious.
That's what my daughter does, and she plays almost every position. She's a tough cookie.
All right.
And she works for tennis as well, and is a computer animator. He works for a company called Rec Room out of Seattle. So he works from home on his computer all day.
Wow.
And he loves it. And he loves his car. He's into the little Fast and Furious cars, So that's like his girlfriend, his car right now.
Okay. Costs as much as a girlfriend, so why not, in there.
It's a funny picture. He put his arm around the back of the car saying, "Bae, that's my bae."
Well,
So, yeah, I
Sharon,
had a great career. I did. I thought the Air Force was the best career ever, and then I come and work with the space program, and it got better. I mean, I've been very fortunate to, and did it all without a college degree. So let kids know that yes, you can work at NASA without a degree. I'm sure a
Well,
lot of them have a degree to work at NASA, but there's plenty other opportunities at NASA besides, like I mentioned before, being an astronaut or being a rocket scientist. So you have all these support people to help make that astronaut be able to do what they do.
mm-hmm. Well, Sharon McDougle, you are an inspiration, not just to Black History Month, the African Americans, but I think, how about you all out there, inspired by this wonderful lady here? She's promised that she's going to come. We've extended complimentary tickets to her and her husband to come in October to our Cosmic
Wait.
Masquerade Ball. We got it scheduled for October 22nd. On a beachside hotel in Cocoa Beach, and we'll be talking more about that. So, just so appreciative, and just a great conversation, right?
I'm so fast. Oh my goodness.
Good. Well, we hope that you've all enjoyed Sharon McDougle and learned something about space techs that we didn't know. I've learned a whole bunch, and we will have her back on another issue of Stay Curious soon. All right, we'll find a time to key in that with you. Maybe get you on there with Triple T Studios at our Space Museum. So thank you very much, Sharon.
You're welcome.
And on behalf of Marty and Jessica here, done a great job. And our whole museum here is doing what we can to, Sharon, what we do is we preserve the birth of America's space age right where it began in the delivery room here in Brevard County.
Amen.
And you have certainly enhanced that. So,
Thank you.
well, I'm Mark Marquette, and we will see you tomorrow with the one and only Triple T and Tales from the White Room. Until then, we'll see you again to bridge the space between us.